Hello everyone, my name is Patrick. Whispers suggest that I'm a magical genie with sawdust in my veins. Others say I'm an octopus who likes to make furniture. What we know for sure, this is Today we are going to be building charcuterie boards. And I'm going to be using this piece of wood. It's pine. It's not particularly fancy or nice. And it's not straight. We're gonna have to fix that. So first things first, I don't have to, but I'm going to fix the planer. I swear I did not put that wood there. We need to fix the planer. We need to put these back on as best we can. I'm mostly concerned about the back side of it.
All right, so starting off this little planer repair, we've got to remove all the bolts that are attached and then flip the thing upside down.
Stay there. Don't move.
And I struggled a little bit to get it on top of some wood here, so it was easier to work on, and mostly so it wouldn't bend the bolts sticking out, because I don't want to replace
So I got my pin here, but I got sneak this spring in first. Just kind of lower it down into the hole. There we go. So now we got this little pushy action.
So to explain a little bit clearer, there's a solid pin and then there's a spring-loaded push pin that hold the extension wings on the planer. I had to replace or reattach the spring-loaded pins because they all popped out. And then I had to flip it back over, and I decided to flip it around so my dust collection hose was on the same side, and very safely got the planer back into its home. Then we started working on the actual project here. So I'm just removing all the bark, and this was hurting my wrist a lot. I did something to my wrist and it was quite painful. After getting all of the bark off, we moved on to sanding, and we just kept on sanding. I apologize for my voice. It's been a very long week of a broken furnace and also still sick and lots of things happening.
I am going to try something. And I don't have any idea if it's going to work or not. I don't have a proper planer sled for this size. So I took 2 pieces of MDF and I attached them together using a hinge.
And I came up with a design that I kind of liked, and this was just a rough design to get an idea if it was going to work or if I should be prepping another piece of wood. I then ran it through the planer on the jankiest looking planer sled ever made, and it actually started flopping on the one side, so I screwed it down into the wood. because yeah, it just wasn't working out very well. But I kept running it through until I had it mostly flat. It's not 100%, but it's mostly flat, and mostly flat is what I was going for. I'm actually hoping that when I cut it in half, it will kind of act as flat. I also expected it to move a lot right after oiling it, so I kind of figured it was going to be inevitable. But surprisingly, that didn't happen.
Okay, it's not perfectly flat. And I got some pretty decent snipe on both sides. But it's softwood, so I'll be able to sand that out pretty nicely. Yeah, it's got a little bit of wobble. Just a bit. I'm hoping after I cut it in half, it will kind of lose any wobble it has. But as I was doing before, measuring 22 inches, because the whole thing is 44. I have my design. This is actually just going to be a big circle.
And now the fun part. I cut out the shape after drawing it in on some pencil. It's kind of hard to see, but I am following pre-established lines. And you know, this jigsaw is the first tool that I bought. I built my shed with this jigsaw. I built some jumps for a bike with it. I did quite a few things with this jigsaw. And it worked out pretty well, I gotta say. A little bit slow, but it was neat. Then I had to move on to drilling my holes. And I believe I'm using a 1.25" Forstner bit here. And I really am just putting a lot of weight on that, just forcing it through. Probably not the healthiest way to do it, but I was just getting it done, I suppose. Inexperience leads to misuse of tools. Then moving on to the trim router to give the entire charcuterie board, top and bottom, a 1/2" round over. This was to the request of the client. More on that in the closing section. And you know, I kind of like the way it looked. It turned out pretty nice. I think the edges could have been a bit sharper. And then everybody's favorite thing, sanding. So I sanded up the boards, moving through all the grits. And then it was time.
Everybody's favorite part. I just kind of got stuff a little bit tidied up. I've never actually tried really putting mineral oil on pine before, but we're gonna find out. Post in the comment right now. Is it amazing, or does it look like crap? It kind of looks the same. Like, kind of looks exactly the same. Kind of anticlimactic. Climatic? Anticlimato? I don't know. Whatever that word is, it's kind of anticlimato. Now I would have stained this and probably made it look nicer, but because it's going to get used for food, snacks and stuff, I did not want to throw a stain on it. I'd rather have it be as food safe as possible. Now the story behind why I made these out of pine. So I made that maple charcuterie board from a couple of videos ago. And my sister-in-law came over and she saw it and she's like, "That's really awesome. Can you make me one, but bigger?" I'm like, "Sure. How big?" And then she's like, 3 feet long. And I'm like, "Well, I could attach a handle to my tabletop and you can use that as a charcuterie board if you like." Because 3 feet is actually like a fair distance. So I talked her down to a more reasonable size, which is roughly 20 inches. I think it's actually a bit more because this should be 22 inches here. Pretty nice. I think this one is the gift one. It kind of has the most interesting details over there. And this one, the guitar. This one will also be a gift, but for the other sister-in-law. Since we draw tickets, I don't want anyone to feel left out. Thank you all for watching this video. Short one-day project, pretty fun, pretty neat. They're probably gonna warp like crazy tomorrow, but whatever. It's a project, it's done, it looks good-ish, it looks all right. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. It helps a lot. I've got a goal in mind and we're almost there, 86% of the way there. And that's all.